Welcome to Baldy's Thoughts, audio-video book series, where literature comes to life in a whole new way. Join us on a journey through A Nation Unplugged, as we explore the transformative stories of a world without constant digital connectivity. Experience the profound lessons, values, and connections that define this captivating era. So, sit back, relax, and let's embark on this literary adventure together. Let's get started. Introduction. In a world where technology had become our constant companion, a shadow fell upon the land. It was a breach that shook the very foundation of our existence, a breach that severed the digital ties that bound us together. The land of liberty, the United States of America, stood at the brink of a new era, an era unplugged. The digital dawn had ushered in an age of unprecedented connectivity and convenience. Cell phones became extensions of our hands, and the internet wove the fabric of our lives. Our aspirations, our fears, our triumphs, and our troubles were all shared in the vast expanse of cyberspace. We had built a world where the boundaries between the physical and the digital were blurred, and in that fusion, we found our identity. But then came the breach, an audacious intrusion into the heart of our digital realm. China, a formidable adversary, had hacked into America's databases, shattering the illusion of invulnerability. In the wake of this breach, a chilling realization washed over the nation: our security was compromised, our digital sanctuary violated. In the days that followed, the unimaginable occurred. In the interest of national security, a somber decision was made. The digital umbilical cord was severed. Cell phones went silent, and the once glowing screens of our devices faded to black. The internet, once a boundless sea of information, became a vast, uncharted void. For those who remembered a time before the digital age, this shift was met with a sense of nostalgia. They spoke of simpler times when conversations were held face to face, when books were made of paper, and when the world was explored through physical journeys rather than virtual ones. To them, it was a return to the familiar, a return to the way it used to be. But for a generation born into the digital embrace, the sudden disconnection was nothing short of chaos. Their world had revolved around instant messaging, social media likes, and the relentless hum of constant information. Now, in the absence of screens and algorithms, they found themselves adrift in a sea of uncertainty. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, a profound transformation began to take shape. People began to adapt, to reconnect with the tangible world around them. The art of conversation was rekindled, stories were shared over candlelit dinners, and the laughter of children echoed in parks devoid of screens. This book, Disconnected, A Tale of a Nation Unplugged, chronicles the journey of a nation in the throes of an unprecedented digital detox. It is a tale of resilience, of rediscovery, and of redefining what it means to be human in a world that had become overwhelmingly digital. Join us as we explore the chapters of this extraordinary journey, a journey that led us to new horizons and unforeseen challenges. Welcome to the age of disconnection, where the unplugged nation found its soul once more. Chapter 1, The Digital Dawn. The morning sun rose on a world in upheaval. The disconnection had left a void in the lives of millions. The hum of cell phones had been replaced by an eerie silence, and the once familiar glow of screens was conspicuously absent. The digital dawn had arrived. In the early days of the disconnection, confusion reigned supreme. People woke up and instinctively reached for their phones, only to be met with empty hands. Notifications that had once flooded their screens had now evaporated into thin air. It was as if a part of their identity had been stolen, leaving them feeling strangely incomplete. Families, friends, and colleagues who had relied on instant messaging and social media to stay connected found themselves grappling with a new reality. Conversations that used to happen through text messages and video calls were now taking place in person. It was an adjustment that brought with it both joy and discomfort. As the day unfolded, the absence of the internet became more apparent. Businesses that had relied on online transactions and digital marketing found themselves at a loss. E-commerce giants, once the lifeblood of the economy, were now struggling to adapt to a world without digital storefronts. The stock market, which had been a realm of algorithms and high-frequency trading, ground to a halt. In this digital vacuum, something remarkable began to happen. People started looking up from their screens and rediscovering the world around them. The parks, once deserted in favor of virtual adventures, were now teeming with life. Families played together, and strangers struck up conversations on park benches. The sound of laughter and the warmth of human interaction filled the air. In homes across the nation, dusty board games and neglected musical instruments were dusted off and brought back to life. People spent evenings gathered around tables, engaging in face-to-face competition and creativity. The tactile nature of these analog activities brought a sense of fulfillment that had long been missing. But it wasn't just personal lives that were affected. The workplace underwent a transformation of its own. Meetings that had once been held over video conferencing platforms were now conducted in conference rooms. Employees found themselves relearning the art of making eye contact and interpreting body language. In schools, educators faced both challenges and opportunities. Students, accustomed to accessing information at their fingertips, now had to rely on textbooks and classroom discussions. Teachers, too, had to adapt their teaching methods, emphasizing critical thinking and problem solving rather than quick internet searches. The first chapter of this digital odyssey was marked by a sense of disorientation and adjustment. It was a time of rediscovery, as people navigated the uncharted waters of a world without constant digital connectivity. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, a profound realization began to dawn upon the nation. There was a life beyond the screen, a life that was richer, more meaningful, and undeniably human. Chapter 2: Unraveling the Web. As the days turned into weeks and the initial shock of the disconnection began to fade, a clearer picture emerged. Chapter 2 of our digital saga, Unraveling the Web, delves into the complexities of a world untethered from the virtual realm. In the absence of the internet, people had to adapt swiftly to survive. The impact rippled through every corner of society, forcing individuals and institutions to confront the reality of their digital dependence. At the heart of this transformation were the industries that had once thrived in the digital ecosystem. Tech giants, whose algorithms had shaped our lives, were suddenly faced with an existential crisis. Silicon Valley, once synonymous with innovation, found itself at a crossroads. The advertising industry, which had poured billions into online campaigns, had to rewrite the rules of engagement. Without the ability to track every click and scroll, marketers had to return to the basics of understanding consumer behavior. It was a return to the days of Mad Men, where creativity and intuition held sway. For news organizations, the disconnection posed a unique challenge. In a world where breaking news had been reduced to push notifications, journalists had to redefine their role. Gone were the days of instantaneous reporting. Instead, they had to focus on in-depth analysis and investigative journalism. The world of entertainment also underwent a profound shift. Streaming platforms, which had revolutionized how we consumed content, suddenly found themselves in the dark. Cinemas, once on the brink of extinction, saw a resurgence as people sought out the communal experience of watching movies on the big screen. Education faced its own set of challenges. The digital divide, which had long been a concern, now became glaringly apparent. Students who lacked access to computers and the internet found themselves at a disadvantage, highlighting the need for greater equity in education. In homes, families grappled with the new reality of parenting without screens as babysitters. Parents had to rediscover the lost art of storytelling, engaging their children's imaginations without the aid of animated characters on screens. It was a return to the age-old tradition of passing down stories from one generation to the next. Yet, amid these challenges, a sense of liberation began to emerge. People found themselves with more time that was once devoured by endless scrolling and binge-watching. They used this newfound freedom to explore long-forgotten hobbies and interests. Communities grew closer as neighbors connected through shared experiences rather than through social media groups. The local farmers' market became the hub of commerce, where people exchanged not only goods but also stories and smiles. Chapter 2 of our journey revealed a world in transition, a world where the old and the new clashed and merged. It was a world where the web of digital connectivity had unraveled, exposing the intricate tapestry of human connection that lay beneath. As the nation grappled with the challenges and opportunities of this new reality, it became clear that the path forward would be a complex one, requiring adaptability, creativity, and a re-evaluation of what truly mattered in our lives. Chapter 3: Shadows in Cyberspace. As the disconnection persisted, Chapter 3 of our unfolding narrative, Shadows in Cyberspace, cast a spotlight on the eerie void left behind in the digital realm. The absence of screens and signals had not only disrupted our daily lives but it also revealed the vulnerabilities and uncertainties lurking in the unseen corners of cyberspace. With the internet offline, concerns about cybersecurity became paramount. The breach that had led to this nationwide disconnection had left a digital scar, a scar that raised haunting questions about the security of our online identities, personal data, and national secrets. The shadows of cyber threats loomed large. Government agencies and cybersecurity experts worked tirelessly to shore up defenses. They sifted through the digital wreckage left by the breach, searching for clues and vulnerabilities. It was a relentless battle against an unseen enemy, an enemy that had already shown its ability to breach the most secure systems. For individuals, the disconnection prompted a re-evaluation of their digital footprint. Social media, once a platform for sharing every aspect of life, now seemed like a potential liability. People began to question the wisdom of revealing their personal information to the world, realizing that every post, every photo, and every location tag could be exploited by malicious actors. In this age of digital darkness, the concept of privacy took on new significance. Encrypted messaging apps became the norm as people sought to protect their conversations from prying eyes. It was a return to the age-old practice of whispering secrets in hushed tones, away from the ears of eavesdroppers. E-commerce, which had once promised unparalleled convenience, faced its own reckoning. The loss of digital payment methods forced businesses to adopt alternative solutions. Barter systems, long relegated to history books, made a comeback as people traded goods and services directly, bypassing the need for intermediaries. While the shadows of uncertainty cast a pall over the digital landscape, a new sense of resilience emerged. People, who had once been passive consumers of technology, became active participants in securing their digital lives. Online communities formed to share tips and strategies for staying safe in cyberspace. In homes, families had heartfelt conversations about the importance of digital literacy and responsible online behavior. Children learned to distinguish between reliable sources and misinformation, and parents became vigilant guardians of their children's online experiences. Chapter 3 was a chapter of caution and awakening. It was a reminder that, in the vast expanse of cyberspace, dangers lurked in the shadows, and the boundaries between the real and the virtual were not as distinct as they seemed. As the nation navigated this new digital frontier, it became increasingly clear that the lessons learned in these challenging times would shape the future of digital engagement, redefining the balance between connectivity and security. Chapter 4, The Silent Grid. Chapter 4 of our narrative, The Silent Grid, takes us deeper into a world where the absence of digital connectivity continued to reverberate through every facet of society. The once thriving digital grid, which had powered our lives, lay dormant, but in its silence, new possibilities began to emerge. The absence of constant connectivity had forced a reckoning with our energy consumption. Data centers that had consumed vast amounts of electricity to sustain the digital world now stood idle. The reduction in energy demand brought about a silver lining, an unexpected reduction in carbon emissions. The planet breathed a sigh of relief as smoggy skies cleared, and wildlife reclaimed urban spaces. In the world of business, companies that had relied on digital infrastructure had to innovate to survive. Brick-and-mortar stores, which had faced the threat of extinction, adapted to the times. They implemented innovative technologies to enhance the in-person shopping experience, combining the best of both digital and physical worlds. Supply chains, which had once been optimized for efficiency and just-in-time deliveries, had to be redesigned for resilience. The disruption caused by the disconnection prompted a re-evaluation of global interdependencies, with a shift towards local sourcing and production. For the workforce, remote work had been the norm before the breach. Now, a return to the office was a reality. The physical workspace became a hub of creativity and collaboration as employees reunited face-to-face. The commute, once viewed as a time-wasting necessity, took on new meaning as people reconnected with their communities. In healthcare, telemedicine had flourished in the digital age, but it faced challenges in the disconnected world. Doctors and patients embraced a return to in-person consultations, emphasizing the importance of human connection in healthcare. The doctor's touch and the patient's presence became central to healing. Education saw a resurgence of hands-on learning. Science labs buzzed with activity as students conducted experiments in person. Art classes flourished as students embraced the tactile experience of creating physical works of art. The classroom became a space for genuine engagement and interaction. Amid these changes, a sense of nostalgia permeated society. People began to appreciate the tangible, the tactile, and the physical. The joy of turning the pages of a book, the pleasure of a handwritten letter, and the satisfaction of crafting something with one's own hands became cherished experiences. The Silent Grid was a chapter of adaptation and rediscovery. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the capacity to find opportunity in adversity. As the nation navigated this new landscape, it became evident that the absence of the digital grid had not brought about the end of progress but had ushered in a renaissance of creativity, innovation, and human connection. Chapter 5: Echoes of the Past. In the ongoing saga of our disconnected nation, Chapter 5, Echoes of the Past, explores the resounding impact of a world without the constant hum of digital connectivity. As the days turned into months, the nation found itself reflecting on the wisdom of the past and the lessons it held for the future. The absence of instant information and virtual experiences led people to seek solace in the analog world. Libraries, once overshadowed by the digital convenience of e-books, saw a resurgence. Patrons pored over the pages of printed books, savoring the tactile sensation of turning each page. In this age of disconnection, storytelling regained its prominence. Families gathered around fires, both real and metaphorical, to share tales that had been passed down through generations. The art of oral storytelling, a tradition as old as humanity itself, found a new audience hungry for connection. Art, too, experienced a revival. Museums and galleries, which had struggled to compete with the instant accessibility of online exhibitions, flourished. People flocked to admire masterpieces in person, appreciating the brushstrokes and textures that no digital reproduction could capture. Music echoed through the streets as live performances took center stage. Musicians, once relegated to streaming platforms, found themselves playing to enthusiastic crowds. The power of music to bring people together, to evoke emotions, and to create lasting memories became palpable once more. The culinary world underwent a transformation as well. Home-cooked meals, prepared with care and shared with loved ones, became the norm. The joy of gathering around a dinner table, engaging in conversation, and savoring the flavors of a homemade dish, became a cherished ritual. Communities, once fragmented by online echo chambers, found common ground in physical spaces. Town halls, community centers, and parks became arenas for open dialogue and civic engagement. People listened to differing viewpoints, bridging divides that had deepened in the digital era. In this reawakening of analog traditions, a sense of timelessness permeated daily life. People rediscovered the value of patience and the rewards of delayed gratification. The immediacy of the digital world had conditioned minds to seek instant results, but the disconnected nation learned to savor the anticipation of waiting. Yet, amidst the echoes of the past, a yearning for the conveniences of the digital age remained. The disconnection had highlighted the benefits of technology, from telemedicine to remote work, and the nation grappled with finding a balance between the analog and digital realms. Echoes of the Past was a chapter of reflection and rediscovery. It was a reminder that while progress had thrust us into the future, the wisdom of the past held timeless truths. As the nation moved forward, it carried with it the echoes of history, guiding its path in a world forever altered by the absence of constant digital connectivity. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Baldy's Thoughts, audio-video book series. If you enjoyed our exploration of the disconnected, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest audio-video book adventures. And remember, even in this digital age, the power of a good story and genuine human connections are timeless. Stay forever connected, my friends.